I'm sure all of you know this by now, but I'm not the biggest fan of TikTok. In fact, I'd go as far as to say that I just don't fucking like it at all, really. I've given the app many tries and never really found any content I enjoy watching on it. No matter what I'm watching, I somehow always end up in the unholy circle of hell that is shitty dancing and mediocre lip syncing, which makes up about 80% of the content on the app, and the other 20% is made up of teenagers biting their lips and sticking their tongues out that makes anyone over the age of 18 feel like they're going to be arrested for even having scrolled past the video. So now, all this being said, just because I don't like TikTok, does that mean I want to see it fail? Yeah. But I don't want to see it banned. I'd like TikTok to go the same way MySpace did and just kind of fizzle out like a wet fart when something better comes along. Or better at the time. Facebook is infinitely worse than MySpace. Please don't misconstrue this. Facebook is an actual fucking plague on this planet. But at the time, it was a superior service to MySpace. That's what I would have liked to see happen if TikTok didn't improve or anything, but unfortunately, it seems the government has stepped in here and thrown its condom on the pile and said we're shutting TikTok down ourselves. And I just don't really like that. I never really celebrate when things get banned or censored. I'm never on the side of censorship because I think it's a very slippery slope and a very dangerous thing to encourage. And I totally get why they're considering taking action against TikTok. A lot of places have outright banned it due to privacy concerns because allegedly TikTok collects so much fucking user data. From the things I read, it collects everything on your phone. Every time you even touch your phone, it gets your information. The way they make TikTok sound makes it sound like one of fucking Voldemort's Horcruxes. So I understand why they're even like talking about TikTok, but I never really like when the first solution is fucking ban it. I'm sure there's other ways of combating it that don't involve just outright eliminating it, but again, I'm not an expert. I just don't really want to see what appears to be an innocent app with a lot of shady shit going on get banned without thinking of alternate solutions, since so many people's lives revolve around TikTok. As sad as that might be to some people, to a lot of others, that really is just their reality now. They're full-time TikTok content creators and they've made an entire career off it, and congratulations to them. I don't like the app, it's not for me, and I don't like a lot of the shit that goes on in it. There's a lot of pedophilia in the TikTok community and a lot of things that try and normalize pedophilia on TikTok, as well as encouraging young people to focus entirely on their looks and being narcissistic, since that's what people are rewarding on TikTok, is people that are just douchebags, or at least act like douchebags on TikTok. So I don't like that as an example for young people. So there's a lot of reasons I have for not liking the app, even beyond just finding the popular content on TikTok to be stinky dog shit. But even still, to outright ban an entire app seemingly overnight is just a really bad precedent to set, because what's to stop that power from being used in other areas? Like, what's to stop someone from shutting down Twitter or Facebook or something? If a lot, well, I mean, shutting down Facebook, that would probably be the only fucking time where I'm just fucking pumping my fist like, you know what? I'll make an exception because this shit fucking sucks. But you get what I'm saying. If you set the precedent where it's okay to take down the most popular fucking app in the world out of nowhere without trying any other options, that makes it very dangerous going forward for pretty much everywhere else on the internet, because it could happen to anything else. And while yes, I do understand it being a security concern because of all the data harvesting, well, it's 2020, every single fucking thing you interact with in the entire world is collecting data on you. My fucking water glass right here is probably harvesting some of my biometric data. My alarm clock, my digital alarm clock, probably collects data on me and shit and sends it to someone the highest bidder. Every time your greasy little fingertips touch your cell phone, your data is being collected and distributed. And TikTok is no big exception in that regard. The biggest difference with TikTok is it's Chinese owned and operated. Instead of being a US company selling your data to China, it's a Chinese app directly collecting it themselves. And that seems to be the biggest pressure point for a lot of people. But in 2020, all of your data is being collected, whether you want to admit it or not. That's the sad reality of things. Privacy is an illusion these days. VPNs are super fucking important. Can't stress that enough. Really, if you don't have a VPN, you should think about it. This isn't going into a sponsor or anything, but genuinely, it's something you should be giving thought into if you actually do value your privacy. Because right now, everything that we exist in is collecting data on us, whether for targeted advertisements or whatever, and TikTok is nothing special in that regard. Although a lot of the things that are accused of are true, it's a very thorough data collection software. It is harvesting a lot of shit, which is why I understand it's very important to talk about and figure out the best course of action, and I get a lot of other countries have outright banned it, but I can never really celebrate that kind of banning of an app like that because it is a very dangerous tool to employ like that. That can lead to a lot of problems going forward with other apps that maybe aren't quite as evil as TikTok when it comes to data collection, but where do you draw the line? Once you open that can of worms, it's really fucking hard to stop. When Pandora's box is open, that bitch is not closing again. When you start to normalize banning apps overnight and censorship, you paved the way for a huge mess of problems. And I get there's a lot of people out there that like to fool themselves into thinking, oh, the government's only going to do this one time for this really evil app. And I gotta say, that's just a fucking silly thing to think. When you give that power, you're not gonna give it back. They're not gonna just be like, okay, we did it once and now we're done. That's going to be something in their Batman utility belt that they can use at any time, and I just think that's pretty scary going forward for obvious reasons. Now, of course, I do think there are cases where it's absolutely warranted, where shit gets banned. I'm not saying everything should just be this wild, wild west of degeneracy or any shit like that. There's definitely cases that warrant it. But when you're targeting the biggest app in the world, that leaves a lot of room for gray area if you're just going to ban that. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the TikTok ban. Still don't like TikTok, don't want to see it banned though. And that's about it.